Hello, Steve White, Steve White's 89. Well, I'm here, well, not with Moopsy, in case you might have confused that for Moopsy. I just saw on Trek Movie that the Voyager documentary has been finished. To the Journey is what it's called. I heard about this a while ago. They raised like $1 million to actually make the documentary. And then I didn't really hear anything much about it. And they just released a clip. They don't seem to have a trailer yet. I couldn't find one. Maybe I just missed it. But it's going to be released November. So they're doing some backer screenings around America. I think 3 main ones. And then it's going to be released. You can still become a backer and buy the digital film or the Blu-ray, DVD combo, whatever they've got happening. But I'm just really happy they're doing this because Voyager really was underrated. Not quite as much as Enterprise, but it was still underrated because they didn't really get a chance in some ways. I mean, they launched the UPN network. They got a lot of press in the beginning, but then they sort of got left on UPN, which kind of never really happened and hurt the ratings. Had they just been put into syndication like Deep Space Nine and Next Generation, it would have got a much wider audience and it would have done much better and would have had more, the perception would have been that it was a big show and a hit, I think. And the perception was that it was this disappointing show on this failing network. And then they did Enterprise, which was a prequel, which irked a few people to start off with, but then we got into it. But then it never had the audience. It didn't get the sort of ratings that even Voyager got, let alone what the syndicated shows got. So the channel died. The show was cancelled slightly prematurely, like the year before the channel died, by Les Moonves because he hated Star Trek. Which is why he gave Kurtzman his beautiful contract on his way out the door as a bit of a slap in the face to Star Trek fans at Paramount. But yeah, so they finally did this documentary on Voyager, and it sounds very much like What We Leave Behind. Now, I didn't watch that. I still haven't watched that because I hate Deep Space Nine, sort of. I mean, I watched it back in the day as Star Trek, and I kind of respect it as Star Trek, but it was trying to be the anti-Star Trek from within. And I always resented the fact they deliberately tried to change things that were specifically Star Trek. They did it within the story, though. Like, they had a reason to have conflict, interpersonal conflict between the two different, the Bajorans and the Cardassians, and then, of course, the Bajoran crew and the Enterprise Federation crew, stuff like that. They found a way to do it without being... They did a better job of doing it than Discovery and the New Trek shows. So I have to respect it on one level. It was well written, well acted and so forth, but it really tried to not be Star Trek. And I didn't want to hear their justifications and explanations for this and because we know what they said back in the day, if you were around back in the day, what they thought of Star Trek and what they said in that. So to see them now do a revised, we love Star Trek, we couldn't really stomach it. But this one, along with documentaries like, For the Love of Spock, which is apparently being made by the same company, 455 Films. It's a celebration of Voyager, and Voyager was just a Star Trek show. They want to get back onto a ship, go exploring, and to separate it from Next Gen, and that they put them in a separate area of, the universe, galaxy, whatever, the Delta Quadrant. And there was not that going out for the first time exploring like the original Star Trek or Enterprise, but that we're out on our own. It had... this Lost in Space element to it had a real appeal to it. And the first female captain, of course, of her own series. Janeway was great. Everyone loved her. No one had an issue back then. And the fact that people now make a big deal out of it is weird. But much like Deep Space Nine having a black single father being the captain, no one said anything about it at the time, but now they're acting like it was a big deal. No one said anything. People did say stuff about a bald British guy, though, back in the day when Patrick Stewart started with Captain Picard. But either way, they've done a documentary. It looks good. It looks quality. It looks interesting. It's going to be available soon. I'm looking forward to watching it. Unlike the Deep Space Nine one, I still can't quite stomach listening to R.S. Stephen Bear or whatever justify trying to destroy Star Trek because he hated Next Generation and he didn't respect Gene's vision because he didn't agree with it. So instead of, go work on another show. Go create your own cynical dystopian universe instead of trying to turn Star Trek, which was a utopian optimistic, bright universe and try and turn it into what you think it should be and bring it down to our level and put terrorism and religion and all the things that Gene said we got away from in the future, and try and bring all that back in so people today can relate to it rather than giving them something to aspire to. So see, I can't even. So that's why I'm looking forward to the Voyager documentary, because I know I'm going to enjoy it, because it was a Star Trek show for Star Trek fans. It achieved its goal and it was great and I loved it. And the idea of celebrating that and just seeing how that came together is a joyous experience. What we leave behind, I'm just leaving that alone. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And Pusheen still is unsure if you should be buying Moopsie, because he feels like he's being, knocked off and ripped off. But I might still get one.